Hi, I'm Anthony Marrero, and today I'm going to be talking to you about climate change. Climate change is a big problem in our world in this current time. These are changes in our global and regional climate patterns, particularly as the average temperature of the planet gets warmer and warmer. This problem has become more apparent since the mid-1900s and continues to worsen today. It is largely linked to the increased levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide produced by the use of fossil fuels. Today I'll be speaking to you about the causes of climate change, impacts that climate change has in the world, and some possible solutions to these problems, including solutions at the local level here in Miami. Climate change is caused by both human and non-human causes. One of the non-human causes is plate tectonics. That is the movement of Earth's plates over time. This is how our continents and land masses were actually made. But this can also change in our ocean's patterns that will impact weather and climate. Another non-human cause of climate change is volcanoes. As you know, volcanoes both are on land and under the ocean. They release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere and contribute to the greenhouse effect, which is an overall primary cause of climate change. And the greenhouse effect is what is mostly linked to the human's cause of climate change. Human causes of climate change, which are associated with the greenhouse effect, are more important than the non-human causes and the only ones that we can control. The main human cause of climate change is burning of fossil fuels for transportation and electricity by industries and factories. Another cause is cutting down trees. This is a big problem because it can absorb atmosphere and absorb carbon dioxide and turn it into oxygen. If there are more of us and less trees, then there is too much carbon dioxide not being converted into the atmosphere. Factories also emit pollutants in the atmosphere, which also contribute to the greenhouse effect. These are factors that are crucial to keeping the Earth in good shape, and currently things are not going well. So now that we've talked about what climate change is and what causes it, we need to discuss what impacts this is having on our planet. Climate change, or global warming, has already increased the annual average temperature of the Earth by 1 degree Celsius. That doesn't sound like a lot, but the impact of just 1 degree Celsius has a massive impact to our planet. We can really not afford much more. This increased temperature has already caused a great deal of sea level rise. This is because the accelerated melting of the polar ice caps has increased the sea level throughout the world, and it causes coastal cities to get flooded and will eventually lead them to go underwater. One of the areas most impacted could be Miami or other areas of Florida. Another potential impact that likely is going to get worse soon is food shortages. As population increases and it becomes more difficult to provide food from farming and agriculture, there could be huge economic and social impacts to our world. Another big impact that we are already seeing today is the amount of extreme weather we are experiencing. This includes more hurricanes being created in our oceans because increased heat is providing ideal conditions for hurricanes and tropical weather. And even extreme rain and cold weather can be attributed to climate change. Many people mistakenly think that some instances of cold weather is proof that global warming is a myth, but they couldn't be more wrong. It is exactly global warming and its impact on our weather patterns is causing extreme weather, even cold weather like the polar vortex that everyone has been talking about. There are many solutions on every level that are being considered and implemented today to try to stop or mitigate the impact of climate change on our world. On the global level, the most important development is the Paris Agreement, also known as the Paris Climate Change Accord. This is the United Nations agreement where many of the world's nations have agreed to make changes to deal with greenhouse gas emissions, adaptation, and financing starting in the year 2020. At the state level, Florida has recently not been a great example for dealing with climate change. Our last governor, Rick Scott, actually banned the use of the term climate change in official state documents and departments. This is crazy because the state of Florida is one of the places that is likely going to be impacted by climate change mostly, and evidence is already showing that everywhere. Now we have a new governor in place, and hopefully things will change for the better. since Florida cannot afford to ignore the climate change problem any longer. Thankfully, some of Florida's cities are being more proactive about climate change than the state is. Miami Beach is a great example. The city of Miami Beach has been one of the most impacted cities around us, where many of the neighborhoods in the city have had major damage and flooding as a result of sea level rise. The city has taken many steps and is being seen as a leader in the war against climate change, which are mostly meant to prepare and adapt to the inevitable impact of sea level rise. Some of the measures that have taken include raising of streets and elevating property so that water does not destroy property, installing pumps in coastal areas so rain and flood events do not destroy property, and adopting legislation to require developers and property owners to build responsible and resilient buildings that are adaptable to sea level rise and climate change.